Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So, still not feeling that fantastic this week, so it'll be just a nice steady week, hopefully. I've done most of the big projects that I had in, so I've got to catch up on a few of the smaller jobs now. First little job to do, we've got a new wear edge to put on this bucket. This should be nice and simple. Pretty easy to cut off this one because it's just like butted up to the floor. Some of them, the floor overlaps the edge, and then you've got like sort of a weld down the front and a weld down the back to get rid of. But when they're like this, you just cut straight down there. I think what I'll do first is I'll cut down there, and I'll cut down there, and I'll cut a bit out of here first. Same on that one, and then I'll turn it upside down, and then I can just run the plasma down the back of the edge rather than trying to sort of freehand it across there. And then if I cut this bit out first, and then when I'm cutting from the other side, I'm not going to be blasting through this bit. And for some reason the edge only goes to there, and then that bit is like on the outside, so it's to wear into that bit as well. So when I put the new edge in, I'll slice across there, the new edge will come to the outside, so then it's only wearing the edge away rather than the side of the bucket. I'll get my hand torch swapped over onto my plasma and then start cutting bits out. So I've got cut through there, through the ends. So I'll flip it upside down now and then cut down the back of it. Slice down there now, I've got that edge to follow along. And there's 3 of them straps underneath. Right, so that's the edge cut off. So I had the plasma turned flat out to do that. I was running at 105 amps. I was only 95 amps. It's a 95 amp plasma. I had a 105 amp nozzle in it. So that's that cut off. So now there's like a bit of a weld left because I was cutting down the edge, back of the edge, rather than like where the weld was. So I've just changed over onto a gouging nozzle, and I'm just running along like that and just blasting a bit of the weld away. It's quicker doing it like that than it is with the grinder, and then most of that will knock off, and then I've just got a little bit to take off of the grinder then just to smooth it off. And I've turned down to about 60 amps now, so we'll just blast that down like that all the way across. Right, so that's all ground up now. So it saved a lot of time. Plasma in the weld off first, and then just a quick run over with a grinder. So just what's turning back the right way up now. There's a bit more to grind off under there, then bits of like weld and what have you. And then I don't know whether to sit the edge on like this or whether to sit the whole lot on my bench and clamp it all down to that. Yeah, it's just them bits to get rid of. That's that ground down, so I'll fetch a bucket edging now and cut that to length. I think I maybe will just sit it on the bench because this edge has got a bit of a bow down it that way, and then the bucket is sort of bowed the other way, so it means there's a gap there and a gap there. So if I put it on the bench, then I can pull one to the other and get rid of that gap. It would be easy enough just to clamp it down, but I think it's just the easiest way and best way is just to clamp it down to the bench. Won't take much setting up. So I just want the middle pulling up a bit, so I'm just going to weld that on there and then weld that on the top and then put my chain and winch across and just pull it up a little bit. Right, so I've got that clamped down on the side, pulling that down, and that's about flush there. And then same at this end, clamp, pulling that down, that's about flush there. Middle just wants to go down a little bit more, and then it measures the same from there to the back, from there to the back, so that should be near enough. So I'll put a few tacks around that, lower that down a bit, tack some on there, and then get a bit of weld on it. Right, so I've got all that tacked on now. I've got the clamps on either end holding it down, and then I've got a bit of pressure on the middle pulling it up. And I've got it marked out. So there's a bit of a gap to fill, so I have to weld that on sort of low power to start with. then maybe do another one over the top. Oh yeah, I'll get that welded on now. And then we'll flip it over and then weld up underneath. I think I'm also going to make some plates to go in the back here because they've sort of cracked. Well, they've been welded in sections and they've cracked, and then I've had a bit of plate welded over. Looks like a farmer fix. So I might plasma some plates out and weld them in over the top. Right, so that's all the edge welded on now. So that actually welded on pretty well, like 185, 190 amps. Just filled in that gap nicely. So yeah, I'm just going to cut some plates out to go in the back there now. So got them drawn. Hopefully they should fit. So we'll cut 2 of them out, some 5mm plate. And then I'll have to grind round where they need to fit and then get them welded in. So that's them cut out. They'll go in there like that. So I just need to grind around there now, clean that up, grind that weld off. You can see it's sort of rotted through in that corner as well. And then weld them over the top, and that should put some strength back into that. Right, so that's then welded in as well now. So that one welded in not too bad. That one in the back there, it was real thin and it sort of burnt through, so I did 2 runs over that to fill it back in again. And there was sort of the pointing out a little bit at an angle to get it back onto a decent bit of steel because it's sort of rotten in the bottom. I should do, they'll add a bit of strength back into it. The whole bucket itself is not very strong. It's only sort of a lightweight, cheapy bucket. You see along there, there's a seam where 2 bits of plate meet, and it's not been welded at all on the inside. When you look on the outside, it has been welded. So it's just sort of a cheap and cheerful bucket. But yeah, we'll take it off the bench now, turn it upside down, and then weld the back of the edge on. Now there's no pressure on that chain anymore, I let the pressure off that, and it's nice and straight. Right, so that's it's upside down. You can see them welds have burnt all the way through from the other side, most of the way along. But we'll put another weld over the top of that as well. I think I'm just going to put the ram, when you look down the edge, it is just bowed in a little bit. So I'll put the ram in there and just push it back a little bit. Then when I weld it up, it should hold its shape. So that's that all welded up as well. All the way down. I had a few kamikaze flies at the other end. Seem to get attracted to the weld. So yeah, we'll let the pressure off that now and then turn it back the right way up. So that's that done then. Nice and straight when you look down the edge. And then extra strengthen the plates in. So yeah, that's that done, we'll take that out. So the next job I have to do, well, I've done the job before, is a baler flywheel, and I drilled it out where the shear bolt bushing goes. I did a video of it, but now the same customer's brought me another 5 to do. So there's 3 different types. There's one like that, 2 like that, and then 2 like that. But I think he wanted them doing first. So yeah, I'll get one of them flywheels lifted round into the workshop and put on the mill. So yeah, this has done the same thing as that last flywheel I did. The last video got 94,000 views, so a lot of you will have already seen this, or seen me do this last time, so I don't want to bore you too much with explaining everything again. But I think I'm not too familiar with balers. I think like the PTO shaft off the tractor goes onto something round here, and that spins a flywheel up. And then there's a thing like this that goes in the middle. I don't think this is one to match this flywheel, but it's the same type of thing. And there's a bush that goes in there. In fact, I'll just get the bush to show you. So yeah, there's a bush like this that goes in. It goes in from the other side, so it sits in like that. And the shear bolt goes through there, and the shear bolt goes through there. And then if you get a big wadge of straw or something through your baler, it snaps this shear bolt, and then that spins round and round on there, or the flywheel spins round and round in there while that's stopped. Right, breaks the drive from your tractor to the baler. What happens is these break, and then it makes that hole like oval and breaks the lump out of it, and then once that's happened, these just keep breaking, and then the shear bolt just keeps snapping. So that's a sort out, but I think with this one, you can see there, because the shear bolt snaps so many times, this bit, or the equivalent to this bit, has been spinning round and round on there and worn like the top face of the flywheel. So I think he wanted me to try and skim this off as well and make it flat again. But then if I do that, I'll also have to take, it's probably the same off, I'll have to take that bearing out and take a bit off where the bearing sits up again. I'll have to take, like, whatever I take off there, I'll have to take the same off that shoulder that bearing brace sits against. But that just depends whether my boring head will have enough travel to do that. Right, so I'm going to flip this over now, and then I'm going to knock this inner bearing race out, and then I'll knock that bush in back from the other side, so then when I sit it on the mill I can line it up with that, and then knock it back out that way. Right, so that is the back side of the flywheel. So when I did the last one, I got some comments saying I would have just drilled a new hole, but you can't just drill a new hole because of this big bit that's missing out the cast. Right, so I've got that bearing knocked out, and I was just looking at this dodgy bit here, I was thinking whether I could build it back up again, because there's going to be nothing to support the new bush that I make to go in here. But so that is like 28 millish at the moment, I think. Can't just remember off the top of my head. but I'm going to ream that out to 35mm. I'm going to do it up to 35mm. Most of that bad bit is going to be gone anyway. Plus, if I skim a bit off this surface, I think I should get rid of most of it. Yeah, I'll knock that in how it should be, and then we'll lay it back down again, and then get it put on a milling machine. Yeah, so that's that in, so yeah, you can see the problem there. Actually, I think I might just put a bit of weld or something in there, because 35mm, it's not going to get rid of it all. So I might use a cast rod. I'll knock that back out, use a cast rod, because I know it's going to be soft, is cast rod, just to build it back up again, so there's something to support the new bush. Right, so I've got the little Jurassic set up on stick welding mode. Got my stick ready, so I'm going to use a cast rod. I might just give it a bit of a warm up first, because it's a big lump of cast. I have never had any bother with these rods cracking after I welded it up, but just to get a bit of heat into it first maybe. Right, I've got that welded up and diagrammed back out on there. That went pretty well. And then I put a little bit on the surface there to where the mark was. So I'll put that bush back in now, and then we'll get it set up on the mill and get that drilled out first. Right, so that's clamped down on the milling bed now. So I made these specifically for this job last time. Flame cut them out. It's fastened down there, and it's fastened down there. It is balanced like on the bed as well. It's not going to fall off. It'd sit on there by itself without it being clamped on. So if they came undone or whatever, it's not going to fall off. Yeah, last time I lined that up with air and got that. That's how I lined that up. But I think this time I'm going to use the edge finder and find the centre of that. And then once I found the centre of that, I can knock that out and then drill it through. This is like a 34mm, whatever it is, an imperial, inch and 11/32s, and then go through the 35mm reamer and then have a go at facing that off. Right, so that's that drilled and reamed out. So I'll put the edge finder back in now and we'll find the centre of this hole here and then put the boring head in. Right, so I've got the boring head set up now. That is like right to the extent of its travel, so I'll be able to get to there, which is enough to cover what I need to cover. Apart from, it won't go far enough in to reach the middle, so I'll have to, well, I've got it set up for this now, so I'll wind it in as far as it'll go and then cut from wherever it starts out to there, and then I'll have to do that little bit in the middle as a separate cut. I have to put the tool back into like the hole on the boring head rather than through this bit. But I've gone around there and like it's scratched the paint off, so I've got it zeroed on like that as 0. So now I know how much I'm going to be taking off the top, so I know how much to take out of that bearing groove. So I think I'll just grind that little bit of weld off first, and then it's not going to be chattering when it gets to it. And nice and steady away, hopefully should be able to clean that surface up. Right, so that's that outer bit smooth, real smooth as that. So I just need to get this middle bit down to the same now. It'd probably been better. It might have been better doing the middle first and then the outer, but it's just how I had it set up to zero it on the outer bit. Right, so I've got that into there now, but the boring head won't go out far enough now to go into what I've already done. So what I need to do really is take some off the back of that, so that I can put that in and get the tool further in, because it was nearly, when this was in and that was all the way back, it nearly cut to the centre. So if I can alter this to do that, then I can cut from the centre out over, and then if I need to do a bit more at the end, I can just undo these, move this out a little bit and carry on. So I don't know whether whether that bit will be hardened or not, whether I can put that in a lathe and just skim a bit off the back of there so I can get that closer in. Right, so I've got 5mm skimmed off the back of that, so I'll put that back in. I've got that just to say touching on there and zeroed back off on the DRO. So yeah, I'll go back down again, wind it in, and then cut back out to there. On this boring head, there is a thread on the back, or a dial on the back, that's supposed to be quick. It's supposed to wind it in and out quickly, but it doesn't seem like it wants to turn. I can't remember. When I bought it, they did show me how to use it, but I can't really remember what I'm doing wrong now. Something to do with all these buttons. These are all different feed rates. The more buttons you press in, the more, the quicker it feeds out. I think I've got 3 buttons pressed in at the moment. But I can't remember how you get the buttons back out again. I think you have to press them all in. And I didn't want to press them all in and then not be able to get them back out again. So I'm just leaving it as it is and winding it in and out with the slow dial or the fine precision dial. Right, so that's that joined up now. There's a little bit there that it's not quite taken out, but I think that'll be alright. So that was 0.8 of a millimetre that I took off to get it smooth, so I need to take 0.8 off of there now. I must not quite have had my stop set quite right because it just started to touch the side, so I let go of the bar. Anyway, that's done what I needed that to do, so yeah, I just need to make a bush to go in here now. Got this bit of round bar in the lathe now, so we'll make a bush up out of that. Right, so that's that bush made now to go in there that way. So that fits in there a little bit slack at the moment because it's an interference fit into there. So I'm hoping once I've braided that into there and it's sort of squashed it down, then that'll be tight in there. Last time I did one, it was a little bit too tight and I had to like sand a bit out of it. So I'm hoping my tolerances are right and that should do it. So I think I'll put a bit of bearing lock on it as well, and then we'll knock that in there. You can see my bit of weld has done its job as well. It's fully supported all the way around the hole now. Right, that's that in, and that doesn't fit in, doesn't drop in now, so hopefully that'll be right amount of interference fit. That goes in from the other side. So I'm just going to, well, same as I did with the other one, drill it half and half and put a grub screw in there as well to stop that coming out, because when these get knocked in and out, you don't want that to come out as well. So with the grub screw, that can't come out. It's when you're only going to be knocking that in and out. Right, so that is all sorted then. Grub screws in there, that's flush with that. That's all skimmed back down again. But it shouldn't matter about this bit because it doesn't come that far out, the bit that goes on here anyway. That's all fully supported down there now. And then I'll take it off the mill again and then knock this bush in from the other side. Last time I did this as well, I made this and someone commented saying, what a waste of time making that, you could have just done it by hand. Well, I've used it a few times now and it's coming again for this. So that's it from the back side. So that should knock in there now hopefully. Right, so that's in there. I'd say that was about spot on. Didn't get too much knocking in, but and it's like perfectly flush with the surface. So yeah, no, pleased with that. That's worked out well. So yeah, I'll lay it back down. What else was I going to do? Oh, I'll probably knock that bearing race back in as well. And it's up to them if they want to change it or not. Right, so I've decided not to knock that bearing all the way in, so then they can see that I've actually machined a bit off the bottom of there, and in case they want to put a new one in, if not, all they need to do is knock it in. But yeah, that's my bit done, and I've covered it with like anti-corrosion stuff as well to stop it going rusty. So yeah, that's that one done. That's all for this week. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.